Hello, my friend. Welcome to Dreamy Nights. It is a gentle comfort that this quiet evening finds another heart ready to rest. Tonight, a soft and patient story will unfold, moving as slowly as candlelight across old stone, as calmly as rain over distant roofs. Each breath, each word is a small step away from the noise of the day and toward a softer, quieter shore of the mind. When the world feels ready to loosen its hold, the story begins to glow at the edges of the night. Before the story begins, if these peaceful moments ever help the heart feel lighter or sleep come closer, a gentle subscription is a quiet way to return to this sanctuary whenever rest is needed. A simple gesture, but a kind one. Thank you for being here, exactly as this moment finds things. Now, the rain drifts in and the story opens. While night has settled over the forbidden city in a veil of silver-gray drizzle, the last color of the day has faded from the sky, leaving only a muted wash of cloud where no stars are visible. And yet, everything feels softly illuminated. The red walls of the palace deepen into a quiet, wine-dark hue, their lacquered surfaces glistening as beads of rain collect and run down in slow, reflective rivers. Golden roof tiles catch what little light there is, turning dim lantern glow into scattered threads of amber along the sharp lines of the eaves. In the vastness of the courtyards, the night has grown spacious and unhurried. Stone paving stretches from gate to gate, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, now slick and cool under the touch of the drizzle. Rain gathers in shallow pools along the edges, turning the world upside down in trembling mirrors. A lantern becomes a blurred star. A gate becomes a doorway into liquid shadow. Every drop that falls adds a tiny, delicate sound to the quiet, like 1,000 fingertips tapping gently on parchment. A lone traveler crosses one of the wide courtyards, steps measured and unhurried. A simple cloak rests over their shoulders, the fabric darkened by the mist, carrying the scent of rain-soaked cloth and fresh stone. They move not in haste or worry, but with the slow attentiveness of someone listening for something they cannot yet name. Each footfall lands with a soft echo against the damp floor, swallowed almost instantly by the openness of the night. The air around them feels cool and clean, threading into lungs and easing out in long, unforced breaths. Lanterns burn along the outer walls like small, patient suns. Their light is not bright, but warm and steady, painting ovals of gold upon the red surface and leaving long trails of shadow behind carved beams and stone balustrades. The rain softens wherever it passes through that glow, turning from sharp, glinting threads into a fine, luminous mist. The traveler watches the nearest lanterns sway gently in the faint movement of the air, its paper sides darkened by tiny points of moisture, as though the night has reached out to touch it. The vast roofs overhead shelter the deeper corridors from the direct fall of the rain, but not from its presence. The subtle scent of wet earth, soaked wood, and faint incense drifts through the open passageways. Somewhere beyond sight, perhaps in a closed hall or quiet shrine, a stick of incense has burned low. Its last wisps mingle with the cool dampness, wrapping the senses in something both grounded and delicate. The world feels layered. Stone and sky, incense and rain, echo and silence, all resting together without urgency. The traveler passes beneath an ornate gate, its painted beams dim in the late hour. Water gathers at its corners and falls in gentle chains from carved dragon heads, each drop landing on stone with a soft, rhythmic patter. As the traveler moves under this arch of color and carved history, a faint difference begins to register, a shift not seen but sensed. Somewhere beyond the next stretch of corridor, there is a warmth that does not belong entirely to lanterns or stone. It lingers at the edge of perception, like the memory of sunlight in the middle of a cloudy day. Now the corridor ahead narrows, framed by high walls on either side. Their surfaces are darker here, where the lanterns are fewer and spaced far apart. Shadows gather in the recesses between pillars, folding into soft pools where the drizzle cannot reach. The traveler moves more slowly, feeling the polished stone beneath their soles, smooth and cool. Each step a small confirmation that the path continues ahead. A thin trickle of water runs along a shallow groove at the base of one wall, catching hints of reflected light as it threads silently towards some unseen drain. As the traveler reaches the end of this corridor, something subtle changes. The air grows slightly warmer, touched by a breath of floral sweetness that has no place in the rain-soaked courtyard behind. It is a delicate fragrance, a not overpowering, like petals that have just opened in the night, sharing their scent only with those who happen to pass near enough. The traveler pauses, letting the presence of this unseen garden wrap gently around their senses. In the hush, the sound of distant rain fades to a muffled murmur, like a quiet conversation held behind a closed door. Ahead, the wall does not quite meet itself as expected. Where a stretch of stone should continue unbroken, ivy spills down in a soft, shadowed curtain, glistening with droplets that catch the lantern light in faint pinpricks. Behind the cling of leaves and tendrils, there is a suggestion of an opening, not a formal gate, not a grand door, but something smaller, more secret, as though meant for a single, quiet presence rather than a crowd. Or the lantern that hangs nearest to it flickers with a warmer glow, its light leaning toward the ivy in a way that feels almost intentional. The traveler steps closer, the scent of blossoms growing stronger with each careful movement. Rain patters softly on the tiles overhead, while the mist curls along the ground, stirring the edges of the traveler's cloak. A hand rises, slowly and without urgency, to brush aside a strand of ivy, revealing the smooth, time-polished curve of a narrow stone arch hidden beneath. The stone is cool beneath the fingertips, its surface slightly damp. The texture, that of something old and steadfast, shaped by years of touch and weather. The arch forms a gentle frame around a wooden door, humble and unadorned, its grain darkened by age and water. The door stands barely ajar, leaving a slim line of darkness edged in a faint, honeyed glow from within. It looks as if it has been waiting for a long time, not pushed open often, but never fully closed. From the gap comes a wash of warmth, carrying with it the more defined fragrance of night-blooming flowers and the quiet, rounded scent of moss after rain. Through that thin boundary, the traveler senses not just another courtyard, but a smaller, softer world, gathered within walls and shadows. For a moment, there is no movement at all. The traveler simply stands at the threshold, listening. The rain outside continues its gentle descent upon the greater palace, each drop adding to the soft undertone of sound that cradles the night. From within the partially open door, the world seems calmer still, as though all noise has been filtered and softened, leaving only the tender murmur of something growing and at rest. The traveler exhales, the breath gentle and steady in the cool air. There is no hurry in the decision that follows, no sense of risk or urgency, only a quiet recognition of having arrived at the edge of a sanctuary that has somehow always been there, waiting. Fingers rest briefly on the wooden surface of the door, feeling the faint grain beneath the skin, the slight give of aged hinges. The wood is neither fully dry nor wet, but somewhere in between, holding both the memory of shelter and the touch of the rain. In the vastness of the forbidden city, under clouds thick with mist and hidden light, one traveler and one door now share a moment of stillness. The red walls, the golden eaves, the lanterns, and the patient rain all seem to lean gently toward this quiet point, as if acknowledging that something tender and unspoken is unfolding. The night remains calm and unbroken. Nothing is demanded, nothing is rushed. Only the soft possibility of a secret garden waits on the other side, blooming in silence just beyond the narrow line of light. The traveler remains at the narrow door, framed by ivy and stone, with the soft murmur of rain resting behind like a distant memory. A moment ago, the courtyard was wide and open, all red walls and echoing space. Now, the world has become smaller and more intimate, shaped by the archway that cradles the hidden entrance. The same night holds both spaces. The broad ceremonial courtyards of the Forbidden City, and this quiet, unmarked threshold where warmth drifts through a slender line of light. A faint breeze curls through the gap at the edge of the door, feathering against the traveler's face. It carries with it a hint of jasmine, delicate and sweet, yet softened by the gentle dampness of the air. There is no chill here, only a coolness touched by something warmer, like the inside of a sheltered hand, warmed by a small flame. The fragrance feels like a welcome spoken without words, a recognition that this place is meant for rest rather than spectacle. Slowly, with care not to disturb whatever peace lies beyond, the traveler curls fingers around the smooth edge of the wooden door. The wood answers with a faint, contented creak that is neither loud nor disruptive, like an old friend stretching after a long, comfortable stillness. As the door opens a little wider, the line of light widens into a soft, golden sheet that spills across the stone threshold. It spreads gently around the traveler's feet and brushes the hem of the cloak, drawing a clear but tender boundary between the world outside and the sanctuary within. The sound of the rain changes as the door opens. What was once a broad, open patter over roofs and in courtyards becomes a softened hush, as though filtered through layers of leaves and flowers. There is still the presence of water in motion, but it now seems further away, wrapped in the gentle volume of growing things. Into this softened soundscape, another tone appears, the faint, continuous murmur of water moving over stone, like a hidden stream flowing with steady calm. The traveler takes a step forward, the sole of one foot slipping from the cold, polished palace stone onto something altogether different. The ground beneath is firm yet cushioned, a moss-covered path that yields slightly with each touch, storing warmth like a slowly beating heart. The moss feels alive, not in any unsettling way, but as though it is deeply rooted and content, anchored in long years of patience and quiet growth. As the traveler's weight settles into it without resistance, as though the garden has been expecting precisely such a gentle arrival. The doorway frames the first glimpse of the hidden garden. Lanterns, small and round, float at different heights among the branches and leaves, each one pulsing with a soft, amber light. Their glow does not glare or demand attention. Instead, it drapes over petals and pathways like warm silk. Between these points of light, shadows nestle in soft folds, hiding details but revealing shapes. A curve of stone, the outline of a low wall, the arch of a bridge just beyond the first bend of the path. The traveler pauses at the threshold, letting the senses adjust to this new softness. Behind, the palace is still, red, gold, and stone. Ahead, the garden is a tapestry of greens and pale colors, breathed into life by moonlight and lantern glow. A single breath in gathers the scent of damp earth, jasmine, and something faintly sweet, like blossom nectar mingled with rain. A breath out seems to carry a little of the day's weight away, dispersing it into the quiet spaces between leaves. One more step carries the traveler fully inside. The wooden door settles slowly back into place, not closing with any sudden finality, but drifting toward its frame until it meets it with a soft, muted touch. The ivy around the archway hangs easily, a living curtain that now conceals the entrance from the courtyard beyond. Within the garden, the world narrows to the moss path, the lanterns, and the surrounding hush that feels like a gentle hand around the heart. The path is narrow and winding, designed not for haste, but for wandering. Its surface is a patchwork of moss, small stones, and the occasional flattened root, all softened by the persistent touch of the drizzle beyond the canopy. Between the stones, tiny beads of water cling, catching the light in miniature reflections. The traveler lifts one foot and then the other with quiet intention, each step measured, as though matching the slow rhythm of the garden's invisible heartbeat. On either side of the path, flowers rise in soft clusters. Some stand as delicate white blossoms, each petal edged in faint silver under the lantern light, while others offer deeper shades, gentle pinks, creamy yellows, muted blues, colors softened by the night but not erased. Many of these flowers are fully open, their petals relaxed and unguarded, as if the darkness is not something to hide from, but something that gives them permission to bloom. Tiny droplets rest on their petals and leaves, making each flower sparkle in quiet, understated ways. The traveler leans slightly closer to one cluster of blossoms. A subtle fragrance rises to meet them, neither strong nor demanding, but layered. Light sweetness, a hint of green, a trace of something that recalls early mornings after rain. The petals, if they were touched, would feel cool and tender, like fine silk warmed only by the ambient air. There is no need to pick or disturb them. Simply standing among them feels like being invited into the slow unfolding of their nightly ritual. Further along, a slender branch curves over the path, its surface dark and smooth from years of gentle moisture. Lanterns hang from this branch by thin cords, and their weight so slight that the branch barely dips. The nearest lantern sways with the slightest movement of air, its light drifting across the traveler's face in a slow, comforting pattern, brightening a cheekbone, glancing off the line of a jaw, then receding again. Within the lantern, a small flame burns steadily, protected by paper that glows like the inside of a seashell. The garden's sound gently weaves around the traveler's footsteps. The distant rain now feels like a soft boundary rather than a presence. Its rhythm has become an outer layer of sound. Closer, more immediate, is the murmur of the hidden stream, its current moving over stone in a smooth, continuous line. Here and there, drops of water fall from leaves or lantern cords into unseen puddles, each one adding a clear, delicate note to the garden's quiet music. And the traveler notices the way the air here feels slightly warmer than in the open courtyard. It gathers around the skin in a gentle embrace, carrying a steadiness that suggests shelter and attentive stillness. Somewhere nearby, the faint, almost imperceptible scent of old wood mingles with the floral notes, from a bench perhaps, or a small pavilion. The balance between cool, damp night and this soft warmth creates a feeling akin to being wrapped in a light, familiar cloak. In the half-shadows beyond the immediate path, shapes emerge gradually rather than all at once. The low silhouette of a rock, worn smooth by both weather and purposeful hand, tucks itself beside a cluster of grasses that sway gently with every change in the breeze. A small stone lantern, its center dark, stands unlit but serene, like a guardian resting between tasks. A tree with a wide protective canopy stretches its branches overhead, each leaf holding a tiny point of moisture that glints faintly when a lantern's light brushes across it. The traveler pauses again, letting the moment lengthen. There is no need to explore everything at once. The garden seems to encourage slowness, to welcome incomplete discoveries as part of its nature. The moss underfoot offers a subtle resilience, returning gently to its original shape after each step, as though it has grown accustomed to hosting only the quietest of visitors. Standing there, still and unhurried, the traveler feels the intangible sense that this place has existed in the shadows of the forbidden city for a very long time, are patiently blooming in secret, while the world outside moved through its tides of ceremony and change. A lantern hangs from a low wooden beam just ahead, marking a slight curve in the path. Its light falls over a modest stone basin carved into the ground, where rainwater has gathered into a pool so still it reflects the lantern perfectly. The traveler approaches, watching the twin image of the flame floating on the surface like a small, tethered star. A drop of water falls from a leaf overhead, landing in the basin with the softest of sounds, sending out gentle ripples that slowly bend and reshape the lantern's reflection without ever fully breaking it. The traveler's gaze lingers on those ripples. They expand, overlap, and gradually fade until the surface returns to calm. It is a small, simple movement, but it carries a quiet wisdom that even interruptions here are gentle, that even changes settle back into stillness without haste. In this place, nothing pushes forward. Everything returns in time to a soft, resting state. A thought drifts through the traveler's mind, unspoken yet present, that perhaps this garden knows how to hold many things: echoes of footsteps from years past, small secrets, passing wishes without burden. The stones, the moss, the blossoms, and the lanterns seem to share a single, unhurried breath. In their company, the traveler's own breathing finds a slower rhythm, joining the chorus of quiet life around them. The chest rises and falls with a calm ease, the weight of the day beginning to dissolve, grain by grain, into the listening earth. The path continues, inviting rather than demanding. Its gentle curves suggest that there is more to see. A stream perhaps, a pavilion, corners where shadows curl softly around the edges of light. But there is no need to hurry toward them. In this sanctuary of night-blooming flowers and moss paths, every step, every pause, and every breath already belongs to the heart of the story that is unfolding. As the traveler takes another slow step forward, the lantern light ahead seems to brighten just a little, as if responding to the quiet presence now moving deeper into the garden. The sound of the hidden stream grows clearer, threading itself more distinctly through the air. The scent of jasmine lingers, joined now by a hint of something woodier and warm, like an old pavilion waiting just out of sight. The garden, in its calm and patient way, begins to open further, as inviting the traveler to continue along the path that winds through its sleeping petals and gentle light. The traveler moves deeper along the winding moss path, where the lanterns drift like warm floating stars, suspended just above the gentle rise and fall of the garden's foliage. The drizzle remains a distant presence now, softened by layers of leaves overhead, reduced to an atmospheric hush that feels more like memory than rain. A softness gathers in the air, something tender, expectant, the sensation of entering a place that blooms fully only when touched by night. A branch arches above the path, its leaves broad and smooth, collecting tiny droplets that reflect the lantern glow in miniature beads of amber light. When the traveler brushes lightly beneath them, the leaves tremble, sending a small cascade of glittering droplets downward. They fall silently onto the moss, vanishing without sound, as though the earth has opened its palm to receive each one. The air holds a faint shift in scent, a coolness from the damp leaves mingled with the warm breath of lanterns whose flames flutter gently inside their paper shells. As the traveler continues, the hush becomes more complete. The path leads between two low stone walls softened by the slow work of years, their surfaces cushioned with velvety green moss. Between their cracks, tiny ferns have grown, slender, delicate fronds, swaying with even the slightest motion of the air. Each step sends a subtle pressure through the ground, which the moss absorbs and releases like a quiet sigh. Nothing here resists movement. Everything welcomes it with the softness of companions who have waited without expectation. The faint glow of moonlight filters through breaks in the canopy. It falls in silver strips across the petals of flowers that open only at night. Flowers that, during the day, remain closed like folded paper, but under the watch of the moon, unfurl into shapes reminiscent of stars or drifting clouds. Their colors are muted by the darkness. Pale whites, soft blues, the ghostly suggestion of violet that becomes more scent than hue. A light breeze moves through them, stirring petals with a whisper like silk sliding gently across stone. Ahead, the first glimpse of the garden's small stream emerges. Its water flows in a narrow, sinuous ribbon, clear enough to reveal the smooth stones beneath, each one rounded by time and softened by the gentle persistence of the current. Moonlight glances off the surface in long, quiet strokes, turning the water into a reflective path that seems to carry the night itself forward. Now and then, a lantern's glow grazes the water as it passes overhead, creating fleeting pools of golden reflection that drift downstream like moving halos. The traveler slows at the stream's edge, drawn not by curiosity but by the serene pull of its steady murmur. The sound rises and falls in a soothing rhythm, as though the water breathes with the night. Inhale, exhale, pause, release. Here, the scent in the air shifts again, gathering the faint coolness of water and the soft fragrance of blossoms that lean over the stream's bank as if listening to it. The traveler kneels near the edge, letting fingertips hover just above the surface. The water carries a gentle warmth from the lantern reflections, mingling with the coolness of the current. Without rushing, the traveler lowers a hand until it meets the stream. The water glides around the fingers, neither cold nor warm, but balanced, like the neutral calm of a perfectly kept room. It moves with enough pressure to be felt, yet not enough to disturb. The sensation lingers like a soft imprint, comforting, grounding, inviting the mind to slow. Droplets collect along the traveler's skin before falling back into the current in tiny ripples that widen gracefully and disappear. The moss at the bank is plush and deep, shaped by the slow drip of moisture from the overhanging leaves. When the traveler sits, the moss conforms gently to the body, offering natural support. It holds faint warmth, likely from the lanterns floating nearby, or from the earth's own quiet breathing beneath. Small grains of moisture cling to the fabric of the traveler's cloak, shimmering when touched by light. Across the stream, a cluster of flowers opens in a pale, moonlit bloom. Their petals glow in a way that is less like illumination and more like quiet reflection. Light held in reserve, shared only with the darkness they trust. Some petals quiver in the soft breeze, releasing small hints of fragrance that drift across the water. The scent mixes gently with the earthy notes of the moss and the faint sweetness of the lantern's warmed paper. A smooth stone, shaped like a shallow bowl, rests nearby. Rainwater has collected in its curve, forming a small mirror that holds a perfect image of a lantern above it. When a leaf drops into the surface, its landing is so soft it creates only the slightest ripple. The reflection swells or bends and then reforms, returning to stillness in its own time. Nothing in the garden ever rushes to return to shape. Everything reshapes itself with patience. The traveler lifts the leaf from the water, turning it gently between fingertips. The leaf carries a soft, natural texture, smooth at the center, faintly ribbed at the edges, cold in its dampness, yet light as breath. Placing it on the moss nearby, the traveler watches as droplets roll off its surface, gathering into small beads before slipping away. Even this tiny motion seems part of the garden's rhythm, unforced and harmonious. Further along, the path begins to curve again, tracing the line of the stream. The lanterns hanging above shift subtly in their positions as they sway with the air, making their patterns of light dance slowly across the water. Or somewhere deeper within the garden, a faint chime sounds, perhaps a tiny ornament suspended from a branch, touched by the breeze, its tone soft and low. The chime carries for only a moment before dissolving into the surrounding quiet. The traveler rises from the moss, moving with the same slowness the garden seems to encourage. The path reveals itself gradually, its stones arranged not in straight, rigid lines, but in a gentle flow that mirrors the meandering water. A reflection from a lantern falls across the traveler's hands as they lift, tracing a soft, golden line over knuckles and fingertips. The glow lingers there for a moment, warm and feather-light, before shifting away with the lantern's next subtle sway. Stepping once more onto the path, the traveler feels the familiar resilience of moss beneath the soles. There is comfort in this repetition. The soft give, the slow return, the consistent warmth that emerges from the earth even under the cool touch of the night. The air remains fragrant, now with a hint of deeper floral notes that drift from a cluster of blossoms farther ahead. Flowers that bloom in longer, slender shapes, their petals thin and luminous, like strips of pale silk. Their scent carries a quiet sweetness, the kind that lingers in the throat rather than the nose, comforting and gentle. The traveler approaches them, watching as they sway slightly. One petal, loosened by the movement of the air, drifts down toward the moss path. It lands so quietly that its arrival could be mistaken for a breath rather than a touch. The soft ivory petal becomes a pale star against the darker green, glowing faintly under the lanterns. A thought stirs in the traveler, not spoken, not sharp, but round and quiet, like a stone resting at the bottom of a shallow pool. A sense that the garden, in its way, listens. Not as a person listens, but as old earth listens to footsteps, as water listens to a stone being placed, as moss listens to the weight of gentle rest. A sanctuary like this does not ask questions. It only receives. The stream continues its gentle flow. The path curves softly, and the lanterns flicker in warm, steady patterns. The traveler moves deeper into the garden, guided not by urgency or destination, but by an unfolding sense of tranquility settled deep within the night. Here, every bend in the path is a quiet invitation. Every breath, a small moment of belonging. The traveler follows the curve that traces the stream, moving through a hush so complete it feels like a shelter built from sound itself. The lanterns cast slow-moving halos against the leaves, turning the garden into a living tapestry of warm gold and soft green. The night air deepens into a gentle coolness, though never cold, its softness balanced by the lingering warmth in the moss and the tender glow that hovers above the path. Somewhere behind the traveler, the patter of the outside drizzle has quieted into an almost melodic murmur, like distant applause filtered through layers of branches. As the traveler walks, the path widens slightly, making space for a structure that emerges gradually from the shadows. It is a small wooden pavilion, shaped with simple, graceful lines. Its pillars are smooth with age, are darkened by years of gentle rain and touched by moss in soft patches. The roof curves in a faint, elegant arc, echoing the architecture of the Forbidden City, but softened by the quiet presence of nature. Lanterns hang at each corner of the pavilion, their warm glow breathing across the beams with a soothing, rhythmic pulse. The traveler approaches slowly, each step absorbed by the moss, leaving behind only the faintest memory of tread. As they draw nearer, the pavilion reveals small details. The grain of the wood rippling like frozen waves, the delicate texture of carved patterns that time has softened but not erased. Tiny droplets cling to the underside of the roof, catching the lantern light as they gather and fall in gentle succession. Each drop makes a soft tap as it lands on the moss or stone below, forming part of the garden's subtle rhythm. Stepping inside, the traveler finds that the pavilion holds a quiet warmth. It is not the warmth of flame or sunlight, but the gentle accumulation of shelter, air that has rested within the wooden frame, insulated from the night breeze. The wood releases a faint fragrance, reminiscent of sandalwood mixed with the earthy scent of rain-soaked beams. The floor is smooth beneath the traveler's touch, worn soft by time and patient presence. A low wooden bench sits along one side, its surface slightly curved from years of use. The traveler reaches out, fingers brushing lightly across it. The wood feels cool at first, then gradually warms under the touch, as though acknowledging a new moment of stillness. A thin trace of moisture glimmers on its surface, not enough to dampen, only enough to shimmer, reflecting a lantern's glow like a faint trail of gold. The pavilion opens outward on all sides, offering a serene view of the surrounding garden. From this quiet vantage point, the traveler can see the soft glimmer of water moving through the stream, the gentle sway of blossoms resting on slender stems, and the drifting lanterns that glide just above the path. A light breeze enters through the open frame, carrying with it a tender hint of jasmine and the cool freshness of damp leaves. The breeze brushes against the traveler's cheek like a familiar gesture, fleeting but deeply calming. The traveler sits on the bench, allowing the body to settle into the wood's gentle curve. The pavilion embraces the moment with a stillness that feels intentional. Outside, the lanterns sway, casting shifting patterns of light across the stream and the mossy bank. Inside, the shadows gather softly in the corners, deep but never heavy, warmed by the steady glow of the lanterns overhead. For a while, the traveler simply sits. Breathing finds its rhythm without effort, slow and even, like waves curling quietly along a shore. Each inhale brings the layered scent of the garden. Each exhale releases whatever remnants of the day might still linger within the body. Nothing presses inward. Nothing demands attention. The garden holds a space where thought can unfold gently or dissolve altogether. Through the open frame of the pavilion, the traveler notices a cluster of birds nestled beneath the broad leaves of a nearby tree. Their feathers, small and soft, are fluffed gently against the cool night air. Some rest with heads tucked beneath wings, while others simply sit still, eyes half-lidded, absorbing the garden's calm as though it is nourishment. Occasionally, one shifts slightly, rustling leaves with the faintest tremor. Droplets slide from the leaves above them, falling with delicate precision into the moss. In another direction, the traveler sees a series of stepping stones crossing a shallow part of the stream. The stones are smooth and rounded, their surfaces polished by time and the continual brush of water. A lantern's reflection dances across them, creating a quiet mosaic of moving light. Each stone seems placed not for purpose, but for harmony, positioned just far enough apart to suggest movement, yet close enough that they feel like part of a single, unbroken thought. A subtle shift in the air carries a new scent, the warm, sweet undertone of blossoms that bloom nearer to dawn. These flowers are barely visible from where the traveler sits, hidden behind layers of leaves, but their fragrance reaches outward in soft, drifting waves. It blends with the scent of moss and moving water, forming a composition so gentle it feels like the garden's breath itself. The traveler inhales deeply, letting the aroma settle into the senses like a soft shawl draped across the shoulders. Every now and then, a faint ripple moves through the stream as a leaf touches the surface. The sound is small but carries clearly in the stillness. A light kiss of water, a moment of movement that gradually flattens back into calm. How the traveler listens to these sounds with the quiet attentiveness of someone who has nowhere else to be. In the surrounding quiet, even the smallest note becomes part of a soothing, natural lullaby. The pavilion's beams creak softly as the breeze passes through, not in protest, but in greeting. Their sound is mellow, weathered, carrying decades of gentle nights and soft rains within their timbre. The traveler leans back slightly, feeling the wood's strength, its subtle warmth, its patient welcome. The bench curves gently at the lower back, offering effortless support that helps the body settle deeper into rest. The garden beyond continues to unfold in quiet, luminous beauty. Moonlight finds its way through shifting openings in the canopy, painting slow-moving patterns across the pavilion floor. And these patterns drift like pale clouds, elongating or tightening whenever the branches overhead stir. At times, a lantern's sway brings a flash of gold across the traveler's hands or knees, warm and fleeting, like the touch of a thoughtful companion. Somewhere not far off, a bamboo stalk bends gently, brushing against another. The contact produces a soft, hollow note, like a low hum, resonant and comforting. This sound joins the symphony of water, leaves, and lantern flame, forming a slow, atmospheric harmony that thickens the stillness around the pavilion. The traveler becomes aware of how easily the mind begins to drift when embraced by such quiet music. Thoughts move like soft birds, appearing, settling briefly, then flying off without leaving a ripple. The scent of jasmine deepens again as the breeze shifts. It mingles with the warm undertones of aged wood, the fresh coolness of stream water, and the delicate trace of night-blooming flowers. Together, these scents create an atmosphere that feels both ancient and new, like breathing in the essence of time held gently in one place. The traveler's shoulders soften, the muscles along the neck loosen, and the breath becomes even slower. In the distance, a lantern drifts slightly lower, its flame flickering in a tender pattern that almost mimics the slow pulse of the human heart. The traveler watches its gentle movement, following the interplay of shadow and light along the pavilion floor. It is a quiet meditation in itself, this observation. The way the flame maintains its shape even in motion. The way its glow remains warm and constant. A something in this steadiness settles within the traveler, creating a soft interior stillness that echoes the stillness of the garden. A memory rises, not of a moment or place, but of a feeling. The sense of belonging to the quiet, of being allowed to rest without question. The traveler lets this feeling linger, letting it expand slowly, gently, like warmth spreading through cooled hands. No urgency accompanies it. The garden seems to offer it freely, in the same way it offers light, fragrance, sound, and shelter. Here, rest is not asked for, it is simply allowed. From the pavilion, the traveler can see deeper paths that wind out toward parts of the garden still hidden from view. Their twists and turns suggest possibilities, soft journeys waiting to be taken. But in this moment, sitting in the wooden shelter with the stream murmuring nearby, there is no need to seek anything beyond what already rests here. The garden continues to unfold at its own pace, offering its tranquility one breath at a time. Lantern light pools gently at the edges of the pavilion, glimmering on the wooden floorboards like quiet tides. The traveler rests within this warm glow, leaning into the effortless support of the bench, letting time loosen its shape and drift into something softer. The traveler remains seated in the wooden pavilion, wrapped in the hush of lantern glow and the distant murmur of the stream. Moments pass with no need for measurement. The night stretches in a soft, unbroken line. Then, almost imperceptibly, something subtle shifts in the air. A warmth that is not from flame, a presence that does not take shape yet makes itself felt. It is not startling or strange. It is familiar. The way sunlight feels familiar even when eyes are closed. The traveler lifts their gaze toward the deeper part of the garden. Here, the shadows are thicker, woven more tightly beneath clusters of tall trees and winding vines. Lanterns float above the path, but some distance away, beyond their warm halos, the shapes become less distinct. Yet the traveler feels watched, not with scrutiny, but with gentle attention, like an old guardian who has tended this garden through countless nights. A presence woven from silence and steady patience. When the breeze moves, the lanterns nearest to the pavilion sway in a slow, synchronized arc. Their light falls across the moss in sweeping strokes, illuminating the faint shimmer of dew. As the lanterns settle again, a soft rustle of leaves emerges from the deeper shadows, not as movement toward the traveler, but as reassurance. A sign that the garden recognizes them, accepts them, welcomes them. The traveler feels a warmth settle quietly at the center of the chest, as though the night has placed a gentle hand there. Rising from the pavilion, the traveler steps again onto the moss path. The ground gives softly beneath the weight, recovering its shape with silent resilience. The path curves toward a part of the garden where the lanterns are spaced wider apart, leaving deeper pools of shadow between them. In these pools, the traveler senses not emptiness, but presence, an unseen caretaker perhaps, or the lingering memory of those who once wandered here long before. Every step carries a quiet echo of connection. A cluster of tall bamboo stands at the left side of the path. Their slender trunks rise in smooth, pale columns, each one swaying ever so slightly with the whisper of the night breeze. The leaves rustle together in a soft and hollow harmony, producing a tone that resonates like a distant hum. The sound is soothing, balanced between air and wood, as if the bamboo itself breathes steadily. The traveler pauses to listen, letting the resonance settle along the arms, the spine, at the quiet spaces of the mind. Within the bamboo shadows, a faint glow emerges, dim, pale, shifting like the reflection of moonlight off water. It is not the warm gold of the lanterns, but a softer illumination, cool and steady. As the traveler approaches, the glow retreats slightly, not in fear, but in play, as if inviting them to move forward at the same slow pace the garden prefers. The light flickers once more, then rests, hovering near the base of a large tree. The air around it feels warmer than the surrounding shadows, carrying a subtle fragrance of earth and night blossoms mingled. The traveler does not reach for the light. They simply stand near it, allowing the presence to unfold in its own time. A soft, low hum accompanies it, barely audible, like a memory rather than a sound. The glow pulses gently, the way a lantern might if held cupped in careful hands. Though its form never fully resolves into shape, the warmth it radiates is unmistakably kind. Moving slowly, the traveler shifts a step closer, causing the glow to drift upward by a few inches. The movement feels almost like acknowledgement, a greeting offered without words. Leaves overhead catch pieces of this light, turning their edges silver blue for a brief moment. A few petals fall from a nearby blossom, passing through the glow as they descend. They seem to shimmer briefly, carrying a trace of its warmth as they land silently upon the moss. A thought clicks into place within the traveler, but gently, with no urgency. This garden is tended, not by hands that can be seen, but by something older, quieter, more patient than time. A presence that moves through the shadows and lanterns, through the stream and the petals, as though guiding all things toward harmony. Its care is subtle but constant, woven into each sound and shimmer. The traveler bends slightly, brushing fingertips across the moss. The softness beneath feels warmer here, as if the unseen presence has shaped the earth with attention. A faint vibration, a warmth rather than a tremor, moves beneath the touch, gentle enough to be overlooked, clear enough to be felt by one who has slowed to the garden's rhythm. The traveler draws their hand back, watching the moss spring softly into its original form. Another lantern sways overhead, sending a warm beam of light across a nearby rock. The rock glistens with moisture, tiny droplets catching the glow like scattered gems. One droplet rolls downward, tracing a slow path toward the moss below. Its journey is quiet, patient, unhurried, like everything in this sanctuary. When it falls, it merges with the earth without sound. The faint glow near the tree begins to dim, not fading away entirely, but softening into the surrounding shadows, becoming part of them. It lingers for a moment longer, pulsing gently, as if offering a final nod of acknowledgement. Then it settles fully into the night, leaving behind a subtle warmth in the air, a memory of its presence resting within the traveler's chest. The garden feels different now, not changed, but deepened. Every shadow seems to carry a little more warmth. Every lantern feels steadier. The path feels more welcoming. The unseen caretaker's presence lingers in the petals, in the moss, in the gentle sway of the bamboo. It is not something to see or chase. It is something to walk beside, quietly, without expectation. The traveler continues along the path, steps slow and unhurried. The warm pockets of air, the soft breezes, the faint glow of lanterns, all of it weaves into a sense of companionship. Not a companion of form, but of calm. A guardian presence that does not speak or show itself, but tends the garden with a devotion so subtle it becomes part of the night's fabric. The traveler senses it as surely as they sense the moss beneath their feet, steady, gentle, and endlessly patient. The traveler walks slowly along the lantern-lit path, the memory of the unseen presence still resting warmly within the chest. The moss underfoot accepts each step like a quiet affirmation, returning to its shape with the patience of something that has always understood gentleness. Ahead, the stream curves again, its voice deepening into a soothing, continuous murmur that threads through the night like a soft lullaby. The air grows aromatic with the scent of water, earth, and a faint sweetness drifting from blossoms hidden somewhere behind the leaves. The path draws the traveler toward a bend where lanterns hang lower, their light brushing the moss in warm, fluid patterns. Each lantern flickers slightly as the breeze passes, casting shapes that resemble the slow flutter of wings or the ripple of silk in dim moonlight. How the movement of light calms the eyes, inviting them to soften, to release their grip on form and focus. In this gentle glow, shadows melt into the edges of the garden, becoming part of the quiet harmony that fills the space. Beside the bend, the stream widens into a calm pool. Its surface lies flat as polished glass, reflecting a perfect circle of lantern light overhead. Only the soft current beneath stirs it, creating a subtle shift, a slow heartbeat of brightness, moving outward in faint circles. The pool breathes in silence, as though listening to the night, taking in everything softly before releasing it again. The traveler kneels at the water's edge. The moss here is thicker, carrying more warmth from the lanterns above. A gentle humidity rises from the water, while carrying the earthy scent of smooth river stones warmed by the day, and now resting in the cool touch of night. The traveler exhales, watching the faintest cloud of breath drift into the air before dissolving. It dissipates quickly, absorbed by the hush of the garden. Reaching out, the traveler lets fingers touch the surface of the pool. It yields with perfect softness, accepting the contact with no resistance. The water glides around the fingers, cool but not cold, moving in quiet spirals that widen into slow circles around the hand. The ripples reflect the lanterns in broken lines of gold and silver, shifting and reuniting as the water calms. Each returning wave feels like the garden's way of smoothing the world back into harmony. The traveler lifts the hand from the stream. Droplets cling to the skin, or catching the lantern light in shimmering beads. As they fall one by one, they tap softly onto the moss, leaving behind tiny darkened spots that fade almost immediately. Water returns to earth, sound returns to stillness, and the garden continues to breathe its quiet rhythm. A smooth stone sits near the pool's edge, its surface damp and gleaming. The traveler lowers themselves onto it, finding its shape surprisingly comfortable, rounded, warmed slightly by the day's lost sunlight, and now cooled to a pleasant neutrality. From this seat, the traveler can take in a fuller picture of the garden, the slow drift of lanterns, the delicate movement of petals in the night breeze, the serene curve of the stream as it disappears into shadow. The soundscape of the garden deepens, and the rustle of bamboo in the distance forms a soft harmony with the water's murmur. Here and there, a leaf falls, landing with a whisper upon moss or water. The breeze carries the faint rustling of blossoms brushing against one another, producing a sound like silk sliding gently across polished wood. All of it merges into a single atmosphere of calm, held in perfect balance. The traveler rests their hands upon their knees. A quiet warmth settles into the palms, perhaps from the smooth stone, perhaps from the lingering touch of the unseen presence. The warmth creates a small sanctuary within the larger garden, a feeling of being held without pressure or expectation. Breath eases further, deepening, aligning itself with the rhythm of the stream. The chest rises and falls with slower cadence, matching the slow drift of lantern light across the water. The lantern closest to the traveler sways, its flame flickering in a soft spiral. As it moves, a trail of golden light ripples across the surface of the pool. The reflection does not break. It elongates, curves, and finds its way back into shape with patient grace. The traveler watches this dance of flame and water, feeling thoughts loosen, stretch, and gently dissolve. A single ripple in the mind fades, then another, until there is only quiet drift. The air grows still for a moment, The breeze pauses, as if the garden itself has settled into deeper rest. In this pause, the traveler becomes aware of the sensation of time stretching and softening, like a ribbon pulling into longer, smoother lines. Nothing calls the traveler forward. Nothing holds them back. Everything rests in a moment that feels both suspended and endlessly flowing. A soft hum rises, not from the unseen presence this time, but from the stream itself. The current deepens its tone as it moves past a smooth bend in the stones. The sound vibrates faintly through the ground and into the traveler's body, creating a sensation reminiscent of being wrapped in a quiet, resonant blanket. This hum is not loud. It is barely perceptible, but it settles the mind even further. It is the kind of sound that seems to enter the breath and steady it. A cluster of blossoms leans over the stream. Their petals glow softly in the lantern light, trembling as if they can sense the warmth below. One petal loosens, detaching with serene ease. It floats downward, landing upon the surface of the pool. There, it drifts slowly, carried by the gentle current, moving in a spiral that mirrors the swirling reflection of the lantern flame. The traveler follows its path with quiet eyes. The petals' slow motion feels like a mirror to the traveler's own thoughts, drifting, circling, settling. It glides past stones, past reflections, and eventually into the darker edge of the stream where shadows gather in soft folds. Its departure leaves the water unchanged, still peaceful, still glowing. It is a gentle reminder that the garden allows movement without disruption. The unseen presence returns, not visibly, but through a warm shift in the air that brushes the traveler's shoulders like a silent reassurance. The warmth moves with the breeze, rising and falling in subtle waves. It gathers near the heart, creating a feeling of comfort, as if the garden itself acknowledges the traveler's stillness. No shape appears, no figure steps forward. The presence remains a tender echo woven into the night. Its company is gentle, like a companion sitting a few steps away, offering quiet without expectation. The traveler inhales once more, letting the scents of moss, water, and blossoms fill the lungs. On the exhale, something loosens entirely. Some small tension or quiet sorrow dissolving into the breath, carried away on the breeze. The garden receives it without judgment, the way water receives a petal and carries it gently onward. The night feels softer afterward, as though acknowledging the release. The traveler remains seated at the stream's edge a little longer, warmed by the stone beneath and the lanterns above. The presence lingers, subtle and steady, are neither brightening nor fading. It is simply there, a companion woven into the hush of the forbidden city's hidden heart. Shadows deepen around the traveler, not with darkness, but with a softening that invites rest. The path ahead curves again, waiting patiently for when the traveler chooses to rise. But for now, the garden is content with stillness. The stream murmurs, the lanterns glow, and the night breathes quietly around them. In this sanctuary, stillness becomes its own kind of journey. The traveler rises slowly from the smooth stone at the stream's edge, leaving behind a gentle imprint that the moss absorbs with patient ease. The night feels warmer now, touched by something tender and luminous in the air, an atmosphere shaped by stillness rather than silence. Lanterns sway in soft arcs above the water, casting long strokes of gold that glide like brushwork over the surface of the stream. The unseen presence lingers, no longer felt as something separate, but as a quiet resonance woven into every breath the traveler takes. The path ahead brightens with a faint shift in light. It is not from the lanterns alone. Something glows beyond them, deeper within the folds of the garden. A single warm radiance pulses gently, as though a hidden star has drifted down into the sanctuary for the night. What the light rises softly and falls softly, in the same tempo as calm breathing. The traveler steps toward it, not drawn by curiosity, but by the natural, unspoken invitation of its warmth. The moss beneath the feet grows thicker as the traveler approaches. Its texture becomes almost velvety, cradling each step and offering a sense of grounded ease. Along the edges of the path, night-blooming flowers form a crescent of pale color, ivory, soft rose, muted gold, each one open wide, as though responding to the gentle radiance ahead. Their fragrance thickens subtly, carrying a sweetness that comforts the senses rather than overwhelms them. The glow gathers beneath a flowering tree whose branches arch gracefully over the path. The tree's bark is smooth and silvered from years of rain and moonlight, and its petals cascade in long strands, like the trailing sleeves of an ancient robe. The warm radiance pulses from one blossom among many, a single flower resting on a slender branch that curves gently toward the traveler. It glimmers softly, gathering the lantern light into itself and releasing it again in slow waves. The traveler pauses beneath the tree. The glow envelops them, not brightly, but with the warmth of hands cupped around a flame. It feels familiar, something the heart recognizes even without memory. A hush settles across the garden. The breeze stills. The bamboo quiets. The stream softens its murmur, as if the entire sanctuary leans quietly into this moment. The glowing blossom loosens from its branch. It detaches without sound, drifting downward in a slow spiral. Its fall seems guided not by gravity, but by intention, gentle, deliberate, unhurried. It turns once in the air, petals shimmering in warm amber light, and lands with feather softness in the traveler's open palms. The touch is delicate, warm as lantern flame and light as folded silk. The blossom rests there without weight, radiating a gentle warmth that spreads slowly across the traveler's hands. The petals feel almost translucent beneath the fingertips, their texture smooth, as if shaped from the thinnest, softest paper. The warmth deepens gradually, filling the palms, then the fingers, then the quiet space between breaths. As the traveler gazes at the blossom, its glow intensifies. Not bright, but full, expanding into a tranquil radiance that seems to illuminate from within. The petals soften in form, blurring slightly around the edges, how becoming more light than matter. A soft pulse moves through it, like the echo of a heartbeat slowed into perfect rest. The warmth rises through the traveler's chest, dissolving tension with the gentlest touch. Slowly, the blossom begins to change. Its shape loosens, becoming softer, less defined, until the petals fall inward like closing wings. The light condenses into a warm sphere, no larger than a pearl, hovering just above the traveler's hands. It glows with a tenderness that feels deeply human, as though shaped by every quiet wish the traveler has ever carried. The sphere of light drifts upward, pausing at the center of the traveler's chest. There, it dissolves into a shimmer, sinking gently inward. No sensation of weight, no shock of brightness, only warmth spreading through the chest, the ribs, the shoulders, all settling deep into the body's quiet spaces. The warmth is steady, soothing, like the memory of a gentle embrace. It lingers without demanding attention, becoming part of the traveler's inner stillness. The garden responds with subtle shifts. Petals on nearby flowers tremble softly, as though acknowledging the gift. The lanterns brighten for a moment, their glow deepening into richer gold, brushing the moss and water with new warmth. Even the stream responds, the reflection of the lanterns elongating briefly across the surface before resuming their gentle drift. The unseen presence, too, seems to pulse with soft contentment, felt as a warm current moving quietly through the air. A thought surfaces within the traveler, quiet, unforced, that the garden does not give gifts without meaning. This blossom, this warmth, it is not something to carry outward or protect. It is something to feel, to rest in, to let bloom within the heart in its own time. A gentle blessing for the weary, offered in a language older than words. The traveler breathes again, deeper now, and the warmth expands subtly through the body. The breath feels easier, smoother, wrapped in light that the night itself seems to have woven. A looseness spreads through the shoulders, the arms, the back, everything softening, unwinding, settling into calm. The gift has taken root, not as something to use or define, but as quiet permission to rest. The glowing tree stands peacefully above, its other blossoms gently swaying as though sighing with relief. The garden returns to motion, slow breeze, rustling petals, the soft hum of the stream. Yet everything feels subtly changed. The night is tenderer. The lanterns seem warmer. The air carries a softness that feels like belonging. The traveler remains still for a moment longer, standing with hands now empty, but heart gently luminous. A sense of clarity, not sharp, but warm, settles into the mind. Everything in the garden feels connected. Lanterns, petals, moss, water, breeze, shadow, traveler. All breathing, all resting together. The path ahead curves gently toward the deeper shadows, where the final stretch of the sanctuary waits in quiet invitation. But for now, the traveler lets the warmth settle deep inside, anchoring a peace that glows softly in the night. The traveler remains beneath the flowering tree, its branches draped like silvered silk across the night. The warmth left by the glowing blossom settles deeper within, becoming a steady, gentle radiance that softens the breath and quiets the inner world. Nothing stirs for a moment. The garden seems to rest with the traveler, as though honoring the small miracle that has just unfolded. Even the lanterns sway a little less, flames rising with calm steadiness. A breeze returns, not strong, not cool, just enough to stir the petals overhead. A few drift downward, floating through the lantern glow like slow falling snow. They land on the moss with such quietness that even the night seems reluctant to disturb them. The traveler lifts one hand, catching a petal as it drifts by, though it rests lightly on the palm before slipping off and settling at the traveler's feet, where it becomes just another part of the garden's gentle tapestry. The path leading onward glows faintly, illuminated not only by the lanterns, but by the subtle light that still lingers within the traveler. This inner warmth seems to blend seamlessly with the garden's atmosphere, creating a feeling of being completely held by the night. No boundaries, no separation, only gentle belonging. The traveler steps forward, and the moss welcomes each footfall with silent grace. As the path curves toward the final stretch, the stream appears once more, narrower here, flowing with quieter rhythm. Its surface carries small reflections of lanterns stretched into long, dreamy lines that stretch downstream as though leading the way. And the traveler moves beside it, listening to its softened murmur, a sound that gently echoes inside the chest, matching the slow cadence of breath. At a small bend, the path reveals the stone archway from earlier, now seen from the inside. Ivy drapes across it like a natural curtain, glistening with droplets that catch the lantern light in subtle, shimmering points. The wooden door stands just as before, slightly ajar, as though aware of the traveler's approach and prepared to guide them back into the world beyond. Before reaching it, the traveler pauses. The garden behind them glows softly. Lanterns hovering like warm stars suspended in the night. Petals sway gently. Branches move with unhurried grace, and the stream continues its patient song. The unseen presence lingers too, felt now as a quiet warmth in the air, as a gentle reassurance resting near the edges of perception. Its presence feels like a soft nod, a tender farewell that is both blessing and invitation to return whenever needed. The traveler touches the wooden door. It moves with ease, opening outward with a low, contented creak. A breath of cooler air enters, carrying the faint scent of rain-soaked stone and distant courtyards. The drizzle outside has lightened into a mist, settling over the forbidden city with a silver hush. Lantern light from the garden spills through the archway, merging briefly with the soft moonlit mist before receding. Stepping through the threshold, the traveler enters the quiet corridor once more. The stone beneath their feet is cool, smooth, familiar. But something has changed, not in the corridor, but in the traveler, and the warmth from the glowing blossom still rests inside, settling into a calm that now moves with them. The world outside feels softer, as though touched gently by the sanctuary they have just left. The drizzle continues above the red walls and golden eaves, falling with the lightest whisper. Each drop seems slower now, more melodic, as if the city itself has tuned its rhythm to the serenity of the hidden garden. Reflections tremble in shallow pools. Lanterns shimmer along distant pathways, and the night holds a tenderness it did not possess before. The traveler walks slowly across the courtyard. Their footsteps echo quietly, no longer solitary, but accompanied by the memory of moss, water, lantern light, and warmth. Every breath carries the scent of flowers and rain, blending the garden's serenity with the calm of the open night. The world extends around them, vast again, yet no longer empty, filled instead with a stillness that moves with them, as steady as a resting heartbeat. At the far side of the courtyard, beneath the shelter of a wide roof, the traveler pauses one last time. Looking back, the stone archway is hidden once more behind its curtain of ivy, secret and serene. The door stands closed now, blending seamlessly into the wall, leaving no trace of the sanctuary within. But the warmth, the gift, remains. The drizzle softens further, becoming no more than a fine mist suspended in the air. The lanterns flicker gently, casting pockets of gold across the ancient stones. The world grows quiet, then quieter still, as though preparing itself to cradle the traveler in restful night. Oh, the warmth in the chest spreads slowly, easing every breath, smoothing every thought. In this calm, the traveler moves toward the soft edges of sleep. not abruptly, not as an ending, but as a natural continuation of the garden's quiet blessing. Stillness deepens, breath softens, night gathers around them like a gentle embrace. And within that embrace, the gift of the hidden garden glows softly, guiding the traveler into peaceful, dream-filled rest. Sleep well, dream softly, and may the night hold you kindly.